world tunes in. The West Coast's premier podcast network.
Hi, this is Mama G. I have my PhD in parental household discipline. Whatever you have in your household, I probably raised it, taught it, loved it, spanked it, punished it, and definitely prayed over it.
The West Coast's premier podcast network.
Hello, everyone. This is Ask Mama G from World 2 Radio TV. And tonight we have a special guest, Tiffany Boyd-Hodgson. I hope I said that right, but if I didn't, God bless me anyway. She is running for the supervisor position in North County, correct?
That's correct.
And so we're going to have an education about what does the supervisor do, where she comes from, and she's going to educate us of how important it is to vote for the right supervisor. Now, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but I'd like for you to listen to her side and her policies. And remember, we have breast cancer. We're still talking about breast cancer. Also, I wanted to attribute to Mr. Saul Miller. Mr. Saul Miller is the father of Reginald and Cheryl Miller. And Thursday, my son Alfred, if you can see in the middle, was asked to be the musician for the services. Mr. Saul was a retired Air Force gentleman. He served in the Air Force for 28 years. He even played in the Air Force band and was playing one time with President Bill Clinton. Also, he died at age 92. He got the rank of E9 in the Air Force, the highest ranking that an enlisted man can get. And he worked at Marsh Air Force Base. He was a wonderful gentleman. All of his children were successful. One young lady, the other sister, I think her name is Tiffany. She played volleyball in college, but we all know about Cheryl and Reggie. They are the Hall of Famers. And then he had a son named Daryl and Saul Jr. So he had a house full of children to raise. And then later part of his life, he became a deacon and a trustee member of Loveland Church. So he was well loved. It was a private ceremony for friends, close friends, and family. No big fanfare, but he was well loved. And Mr. Miller came to me and thanked me for coming. I was shocked. I wasn't planning to see Mr. Miller or talk to him. I waved at him and he came over and thanked me. And I got all googly and I said, whatever. I said, thank you. It was my pleasure to bring my son to play for your services. So God bless Saul Miller Sr. But now let's get back to our special, beautiful guest, Miss Tiffany. I met her at one of her campaign rallies, and I asked her to come on the show, and she agreed. And that is wonderful because, like I said, we vote all the time, but sometimes we don't know what we're voting for or who to vote for. So that's why we have to listen and know about our local politicians because they govern our lives daily. So let's listen to those people. So, Miss Tiffany, tell me about yourself.
I'm so happy to be here, Mama G. Thank you for having me.
Sure.
And I'm one of 5 children. I have 4 children of my own, all boys.
Oh, so you're the queen in the household.
Well, sometimes. And we live in San Marcos.
Okay.
And I am a research scientist by training,
Ooh.
neuroscience, learning, and memory.
Oh.
Yeah. My grandmother had Alzheimer's disease, and so that motivated me to go into research, brain research, and learning and memory in particular. So that's my educational background. I grew up in Texas, in sort of a rural area of Texas outside of Austin.
Oh, okay.
And did my undergraduate work there at UT Austin,
Okay.
and did my graduate work in Canada.
Really?
I did, yeah. So I lived there for 4 years, and then my husband and I, we lived on the East Coast, and we lived in Brooklyn, New York, and I was working in Manhattan on 9/11, which was a very difficult time.
I know it was.
So we are East Coast transplants, but we love living here. It's the greatest place in the world, and we feel really, really fortunate to be here and to be able to raise our family, raise our boys here.
Okay.
And we love it. We don't have to shovel snow, which is great.
Yes, that's so true. So when did you come to California?
2018. 2018. Yeah.
Interesting. So you just got here and started working really quick, huh?
I did. And, it was a tough move for our family because, anytime you pick up your whole family and move them somewhere, it's tough. And we had kids at different ages, and we were really rooted in our community. And when we moved out here because my husband got a job out here. I thought I really need to find people that I can be around and get involved. And so the first thing that I did was I started looking to see if there was a women's march. And so I got involved with the North County Women's March. That's the first thing that I did.
Really? I got involved with the Navy Wives of America when I moved here.
Okay. So
40 years ago.
You did something similar. You thought you had to get involved with the community and start making friends, because it's hard to make friends when you're an adult, isn't it?
Yeah, it can be quite difficult, especially if you don't have the right personality where you can just go, "Hi, how are you?"
That's right.
So what made you decide to run for supervisor, and what does a supervisor do?
That's a great question, and it's the supervisor touches so many aspects of our lives. And many of us are touched by what the supervisors do on a daily basis, depending on where you live. But a lot of people don't know what they do. So I hadn't actually planned on running for supervisor because I serve on a water district right now. I'm an elected official in San Marcos on a water district. And I love serving on the water district. We've done some great things. We started a scholarship program. We started an internship program. We reduced single-use plastics. We made a more inclusive environment at the water district, and we recognized climate change as something that we need to include in our strategic planning. So we're moving and doing all kinds of great things on the water district. But COVID-19 happened, and I felt like the incumbent on the board of supervisors, I didn't think he was taking that as seriously as I thought he should. And I also had heard, and he's on record as not believing the science of climate change. And I thought, the board of supervisors, the budget is $7.36 billion with a B. And they govern health and human services, that they are over the sheriff's department. If you live in an unincorporated part of the county, which, if you imagine San Diego County, there's large areas that are unincorporated. Anybody that lives in those areas, the Board of Supervisors, they do whatever city council would do. They're over parks. They are, they are your first line of representation at the governmental level. If you live in the cities, you interact with them because they run our elections. They also are the folks that test our water quality. So here in Oceanside, sometimes when it rains and the Tijuana River overflows and sewage leaks out and it seeps up the coast, the County Board of Supervisors is what tests that water and tells us, you need to close the beach because it's hazardous. So they touch so many different aspects that impact each of us. And I thought, someone needs to run. And I started calling around. I did try to urge 2 other people to run. And in the process of calling people and saying, this is what they do, we really should get someone to run that that is thoughtful, and can represent the values of North County. People started asking me if I would run. And I thought about it and I said yes. So I threw my hat in and now I'm running and we're 30 days out. We are in the last push. But it's a very, very big job at the Board of Supervisors. Housing and homelessness is also something they deal a lot with. And I'm sure we're going to talk more about that. But it's a big job and it touches a lot of people's lives.
So do you intertwine with city council at all?
Sometimes. And I envision the way that I would govern is, yes, bringing together city councils and talking about things that impact cities like affordable housing and the homelessness population. That's what I want to do. That's what I hope to do.
That's wonderful. So you said there's how many people are running for the position?
Well, so it's a 5-member board and it's districted. So all over San Diego County, the districts are divided up. The district that I'm running for is District 5.
And what does that cover?
It covers Oceanside, the cities down the 78 corridor, Oceanside Vista, San Marcos, Escondido, and it goes all the way to the county line north. So it includes Fallbrook, Rainbow, Duluth, those unincorporated areas.
Oh, I didn't know Rainbow was unincorporated.
And all the way out to Borrego Springs. It's 2,200 square miles.
Oh.
So, Valley Center, Ranchita, Borrego Springs, all of that is also in District 5. There are 2 people running for this spot, and I'm one of them.
Oh. So do you help with the health stuff for the county?
Yes, and that's one of the primary functions as well. And particularly during, when we were really in the throes of COVID-19, the county was rolling out a lot of vaccine clinics. And, I know that my family is vaccinated and we were trying to figure out where to go to get vaccines. And we went on, myturn.gov, that website, and the county interfaced with that website and, told people where to go. So it helped with the vaccine rollout. And not only that, but mental health services are a large part of what the county does as well. They have a fairly new program called a mobile crisis response teams that are, that can respond if someone is having some kind of mental health crisis or an addiction crisis. So they have those kinds of teams too, and they're run by the county.
That's wonderful.
It's a lot.
I know. I didn't know. I mean, I knew that you did something in the county, but the expansion of what you do is really interesting.
Mm-hmm. And that's why, the county has about 18,000 employees, because it takes a lot of people to keep all these wheels turning with all these different aspects, whether it's environment or mental health or, the sheriff's department. It takes a lot of people to keep that big train moving forward.
Now, how often are the supervisors supposed to meet, or do you know of that?
Yes. So they meet, they have their regular sessions twice a month.
Oh.
And then they have it's on a Tuesday. It's the first and third Tuesday of the month, and then they have a land use meeting that meets the Wednesday after the Tuesday, and they meet during those times. But they also serve on committees. I don't know how frequently each of those committees meets, but and they also they have representation at like on Sandag, some of these other larger consortiums of people like transportation and the county water authority. They have representation on those bodies too. So they meet. They spend a lot of time in meetings.
So are the meetings open to the public?
They are, and they can be quite long because they often tackle a lot of issues. But they are open to the public. They meet down at the county building in downtown San Diego. So some folks might have trouble getting down there.
So there's no local office for the county supervisors like up here. We would have to go. I'll go down to San Diego to the meeting of the 5 supervisors.
The meeting of the 5 is in San Diego, but there is a North County office. It's in Vista.
Oh,
And just a stone's throw. It's at the Vista Courthouse.
okay.
So so there's the representative, the incumbent that represents North County. His office is in Vista, I think he operates mostly out of that office. But the meeting of the 5 is in downtown San Diego.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You've educated us so much this evening.
I'm so glad.
So now, ballots. When can we vote?
So I spent all day at a festival. The San Marcos Harvest Fair happened today, and I had a booth. That's why I'm dressed like this, because I came straight here. But I was talking to a lot of people in San Marcos. They would stop by the booth and we would have conversations. And I heard from many people today that they've already gotten their ballots. So everyone got a mailed out, all the registered voters got a mailed ballot to them. And apparently a lot of people already have them. You can start voting immediately, and it doesn't cost any postage. You just have to fill out your ballot and you send it in, or you can drop it off if you're more comfortable doing that. And there are places that you can go to drop it off. If you go to the Registrar of Voters website, it's sdvoter.gov, I believe. You can find out where you can drop off your ballot if you prefer not to mail it. But people can start voting tomorrow if they already have their ballot. They could even fill it out tonight if they checked their mail on Saturday. And
so what is your next event before the election? And do you have?
Oh boy, we have so many events. We have, we don't have a lot of big events, but we have events where we're knocking doors every weekend, and we rotate through the different 78 corridor cities. So we rotate through. You can go on my website. It's tiffanyboyd.hodgson.com. We have an events page, and we are knocking doors. We're talking to voters. We send text messages to just try to get the word out and encourage people to vote. And, of course, try to get them to vote for me, try to tell them why they should. But we have events almost every day until ballots close.
So how is your family handling this?
Well, I tell people I am still married, which is great because it does take a toll when you run for office. And I think in particular when you're a woman and you run for office, we still, as women, we take on the lion's share of getting kids to the doctor's appointments and, making sure that they have their homework done. I'm very fortunate. My husband does the cooking, and that's it's so great that he does that, because if it were up to me, the kids would be eating mac and cheese and frozen pizzas. They're eating that, but occasionally they get a nice meal. My husband does the cooking. But I have 4 boys, as I mentioned, and they are all, they understand Mom is doing this or that, or, she's not going to be home tonight. But we try to take advantage of the time that we have and chat and catch up. But it's not easy. It is not easy.
So you're ready?
I'm as ready as I will ever be. I think that there's never enough time to do everything that you want to do. There's always, if I could just talk to that one more voter, or if I could knock that one more door. But time's going to run out, and we do what we can.
Now, a lot of voters are wondering about the abortion laws now.
Yeah.
Does the supervisor office, do they have concern about the abortion laws? And Is California or this area like a sanctuary for a woman who needs an abortion?
So it is interesting. There have been a lot of challenges in different states to enabling a woman to be able to access reproductive health care. My personal belief is that I believe abortion is reproductive health care. I believe that. And in California, we are lucky because the right to choose is still preserved. At the county level, I believe it was last September, maybe. I may be getting that date wrong, but the Board of Supervisors passed a resolution that said that San Diego County will be a champion for reproductive choice. And if I had been on the board, I would have supported that. The incumbent that's on the board right now did not support that. And I think that's important because that's on a lot of people's minds. And most of the country believes that there should be access to abortion. We vary whether it's 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 15 weeks. We can have that debate, but generally speaking, most of the country believes that women should have access to abortion. And I believe that. And that's something that the San Diego County did take up earlier.
So that's interesting and wonderful to hear, because I also believe that a woman's choice is between God and her doctor and her body.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody in office can be in someone else's shoes in their lives to tell them, no, well, you have to. Because what if somebody was raped? That would be a mental torment. I can't say the word today. Tormenting that young woman to have a baby that was forced on her to have. So I do believe that a woman should have that right to do what's best for her body and her mind to preserve her life and her stability.
I agree with you.
So I appreciate that. But as you know, I was concerned about the atmosphere that the disabled are not privy to.
Okay. So, I think that, and we know this, if we outlaw abortion access, it harms women of color most,
Right.
disabled,
Right.
women of color
Right.
even more.
Right.
And for those reasons, we have to recognize that, and that should be part of the conversation. So I believe, and I will fight to preserve that right.
Also, so in the county, does the county help women? Like, this is breast cancer month. Does the county help us get access to free mammograms? Is that part of something supervisor officers can do? Since we have, what was it, $7 billion?
$7.36 billion. And the county is over healthcare clinics.
Right.
And I would guess that if you were able to go to one of those clinics, depending on what your healthcare insurance is, that you would be able to get access to that. I don't know specifically if there is a specific part of the county that specializes in that, but there are clinics that are run by the county, and my understanding is that they try to get people the best care they can for the most affordable price or free, depending on what your insurance is, whether it's state insurance or whether it's commercial insurance.
Oh, I've been educated tonight. It has just been wonderful for you to be here. We're going to go to our commercial and we will be back. Thank you. Hi, I'm As Mama G from World Tune Radio TV. Whatever you have in your household, I probably raised it, loved it, taught it, spanked it, and definitely prayed over it with God's help. The reason why I have this show, because God has allowed me to raise 4 different children. I've raised the super talented one. I've raised the Special Olympics one. And then God sent that challenging one. I even raised that prestigious private school one. See, Rory Graham Jr. was the first African American cadet to ever serve as chaplain at that prestigious private school, Army and Navy Academy. Unfortunately, in 2009, he passed away. So the former general asked the family to start a foundation to inspire the young men in the community at an Army Navy Academy. In the community, we do a Dress for Success, where we take the senior boys at General Murray High School and give them a white shirt and a tie for their picture day. You know, there's many ways you can help us. One way is go to your phone and go to Cash App. Cash App RG Junior JR Foundation. Any amount will help. Then you can always mail it in to P.O. Box 4306, Oceanside, California 92052. Hey, family, now you know I got everything you need to buy. I have my purses here. In fact, they so big you can put a child in them. Then I have the backpacks for the kids to take to school. Then I have the different color of hats. I got the hot pink, the pale pink, the 2 black ones for the men. It says Billy and Lacey and Ask Mama G. So, and then I got the t-shirts for y'all to wear. I got the cute one with my beautiful face on it. Then I have Billy and Legacy, because you know that's what you're doing. All proceeds go to the Rory Graham Jr. Foundation. No, they don't go to my Cadillac. I don't have a Cadillac, if you want to know. So please donate whatever you can to the Rory Graham Jr. Foundation. Thank you.
Media everywhere.
Hi, I'm Ryan with Media Makers, and this is Chris. And what we do here is make media, not that TikTok stuff, dope stuff like this. And this. We've done everything from flyers to music videos, songs to films, commercials to tap dances. We make media basically everywhere. And what we want to do is teach you how to make media. Not just teach you how to make media, but teach you to make dope media. We offer all types of programs, and the goal is accessibility. Accessibility. We don't want your creativity to be hindered, so we invest in state-of-the-art technology to make sure that your dream gets out of your head and onto the camera. I've been teaching media for over 10 years, and I've seen the stuff that y'all make. I'm not impressed. You need my help. I've had lots of talented students come in and out of this studio, and now I want you to be our next great media maker. We're gonna flip off to something. We've got on-campus programs, after-school programs, internships, summer camps, space rentals, equipment rentals. What more do you need to make some dope stuff? Let me know, and we might get it for you. As a functioning production studio, we got clients coming in and out, and you will be a part of that production process. We put you in the driver's seat. At Media Makers, you make the media. It's all student curated, baby. For more information, go to www.mediamakers.org. Follow us on Instagram at MediaMakers.org.
This is Studio A. It features a 200 square foot soundstage and a 12 by 10 foot cyc wall. 10 programmable RGB LED lights allow you to fully customize your backdrop and create the perfect look for your production. It's used for podcasts, live streams, films, and music videos. This space is as dope as it gets. Click the link in the description below for prices and packages. Studio B is a sound-treated, open-air vocal booth, utilized for music and audio production. Boasting a custom-built equipment specifically designed for the space, our in-house engineers can isolate the drop of a pin. Our patrons enjoy private sessions and amenities such as snacks, beverages, TV, and free Wi-Fi. Come vibe with us and make some beautiful music. Click the link in the description below for prices and packages.
Hi, I'm Ryan. This is my car. Do you like it? Great. We'll get to that. Trust the process. You see, I've been going back and forth with myself, and I decided it's for sale! Sale! No, it is not! Yes, it is. See what I mean? I don't need it, but I want it. You're probably wondering what's wrong with it. I don't know. It cost me a lot to get it running, so hopefully nothing. All I'm asking is a cool $5K. Allow myself to tell you the details.
I just want to live forever. I just want my shit together. I just want my after show. I just want to eat whatever. I just want to hit the road. I just want the perfect weather.
And look at this finish. All original. Nothing says I love the US of A like lead paint, baby.
Hi, this is Mama G. I have my PhD in parental household discipline. Whatever you have in your household, I probably raised it, taught it, loved it, spanked it, punished it, and definitely prayed over it.
The West Coast's premier podcast network.
Hi, I'm As Mama G from World Tune Radio TV. Whatever you have in your household, I probably raised it, loved it, taught it, spanked it, and definitely prayed over it with God's help. The reason why I have this show, because God has allowed me to raise 4 different children. I've raised a super talented one. I've raised a Special Olympics one. And then God sent that challenging one. I even raised that prestigious private school one. See, Rory Graham Jr. was the first African American cadet to ever serve as chaplain at that prestigious private school, Army and Navy Academy. Unfortunately, in 2009, he passed away. So the former general asked the family to start a foundation to inspire the young men in the community at an Army Navy Academy. In the community, we do a Dress for Success, where we take the senior boys at General Murray High School and give them a white shirt and a tie for their picture day. You know, there's many ways you can help us. One way is go to your phone and go to Cash App. Cash App RG Junior JR Foundation. Any amount will help. Then you can always mail it in to P.O. Box 4306, Oceanside, California 92052. Hey family, now you know I got everything you need to buy. I have my purses here. In fact, they so big you can put a child in them. Then I have the backpacks for the kids to take to school. Then I have the different color of hats. I got the hot pink, the pale pink, the two black ones for the men. It says Billy and Lacey and Ask Mama G. So, and then I got the t-shirts for y'all to wear. I got the cute one with my beautiful face on it. Then I have Billy and Legacy because you know that's what you're doing. All proceeds go to the Rory Graham Jr. Foundation. No, they don't go to my Cadillac. I don't have a Cadillac, if you want to know. So please donate whatever you can to the Rory Graham Jr. Foundation. Thank you.
Media everywhere.
Well, we had a wonderful break. Now we're going to talk about it's important for breast cancer. Now, Miss Tiffany is going to tell us. Well, we had a wonderful break. Now we're going to talk now my machine is acting crazy again. As you see, we're live, so anything and everything can happen. But I want Timothy and I to talk about breast cancer, how important it is that ladies, young ladies, older ladies get their breast checked. So would you like to talk about that?
Sure. I think as women, we're busy. We take care of a lot of things. We take care of kids. We take care of parents. We take care of spouses, and sometimes we neglect to do the things that we need to do for ourselves. And I'm guilty of that. I kept putting it off, getting a mammogram, and I'm of the age where now I'm supposed to get them every few years. And I just want to say it's very important. Don't put it off because it can save your life. Don't put it off. Get the screening. Get all of your recommended screenings.
Now, if you have breast cancer history in your family, you're supposed to go more than every 3 years. You should go every year. And then now there's a new part of breast cancer I heard recently, the inflammatory breast cancer. And that's when one of your breasts gets swollen, and you have to double check that. Also, men, 1% of breast cancer is men in men. And did you guys know that Beyonce Knowles' father had breast cancer?
I didn't know that.
Yes. So breast cancer is important. And for women of color, now we are the least ones that go to the doctor. We need to go to the doctor because when we go, our stages are more advanced than people who go in the beginning. So it's important and so the supervisors, the county supervisors, since we have all this budget, hopefully they do give money towards that kind of campaign. So if you were in office, would you make sure that would be one of your priorities?
I will. And as you were talking about it, especially, increasing public's awareness of the need, reminding them that they need to be screened, but also targeted education and campaigns in communities of color, and reminding them how important it is to make sure that they make those appointments, and letting them know that if they are if they're struggling to pay, or maybe if they are underinsured, that there is help. That's important, because what you said, it's communities of color, women of color are impacted the most, and they are diagnosed at later stages, and that contributes to them not surviving as much as white women. So getting the screening, the education aspect of it, that's important.
That is. Now, I like controversy a little bit. So, hey, is our democracy, in your opinion, in danger?
That's a really loaded question. I think democracy, the United States has done democracy very interestingly over the years. I think there are times where it's been challenged, and we're definitely going through one of those times right now. I think it's important for everyone to realize voting is important. All elections are local. And, while we hear more about the elections at the presidential level or the Senate level, and that's why midterm turnout is lower. But it's important who you elect to your school board because they're educating your children. They are molding your children's brains, and our children are the most important resource we have. It's important who you elect to your city council because they're making decisions about transportation and traffic, how long it takes you to get to work. It's important who, and they're also deciding land use issues, what development's going to happen, what's happening, down the street with new apartment complexes or something like that going in. Elections are local, and the supervisor race is a local race. So I would encourage you, do your research, check out my website, check out my opponent's website, and see who better aligns with your values, and then vote, vote.
Are you worried about the homeless situation?
I am, and it's I participated in the point in time count. That's where.
What is that?
It's the Regional Task Force on Homelessness, which is sponsored by the county. Not sponsored, that's the wrong word, but it's part of the county. Every year, they on a designated day, they pull together volunteers and they go out into communities, and volunteers are assigned specific precincts, and you go and you count the number of unsheltered folks, and if they want to engage you in a conversation, you ask them a set number of questions. How long have you been homeless? Have you always been homeless here, or did you move from somewhere else? Are you in need of services? And if you can, we try to connect them with services. But I participated in that this year, and I counted people in San Marcos and in Vista, and homelessness is increasing. It's very, very expensive to live in North County. And I am concerned because a lot of the people that I saw were families living in their car.
No.
Yeah. And, we have different conceptions about people that are unsheltered.
Right.
But I saw a couple living in a van with their cat. I saw an older gentleman, maybe aged, early 60s, Mexican migrant, used to come here to work and would ride his bike, but he was hit by a car. And so he was not able to work. And now he's living in kind of a trailer, a mobile trailer, parked on an industrial side street in San Marcos. Spoke very little English, but I was fortunate we had someone that spoke Spanish with us, and we could sort of better understand his story. And it's only going to grow if we don't help people find the services they need. And that has to be part of our conversation. Get them into shelter, and we need more shelter. We only have 100 beds, low barrier shelter beds in North County, meaning that no matter whatever the cause is or what you need, you can come in and take shelter. We only have 100 of those beds, and we need
now
more.
how long can they stay in the shelter?
I think it depends on where you go. There are domestic violence shelters,
Right.
That have different kinds of arrangements, and
Right.
and thank goodness that we have those. There's Interfaith in Escondido, where they take all comers and they try to help them move into more supportive housing. It's got to be part of the conversation, though. We need to provide the services, whether they need addiction counseling, whether they need trauma counseling, whether they need, support for their children to help try to keep their children in school to maintain some semblance of normalcy. We need all these wraparound services, but the first step is to get roofs over heads. And the county has a program that they're doing right now in Oceanside. Oceanside applied for some of this money. There was $10 million available from the county. Oceanside and Vista both applied and received a few $1,000,000 to convert or build out existing structures to create more shelter beds. And that's a great program. I hope more cities take advantage of that because it's a growing it's a growing population, and it's a growing problem.
It really is. Well, since I've lived here in Oceanside for 40 years, I'm very disappointed. I used to be able to look out of my window and see the beach. Now I can't.
Mm-hmm.
So does a supervisor position have approval of what buildings go up in the area?
Some. It depends on if it's on county land. If it's, in cities like Oceanside, if it's on city property, it's typically the city council that
Right,
issues the
right.
permitting.
Okay.
And so they would be responsible for determining, what gets built where. But in unincorporated areas, that falls under the purview of the County Board of Supervisors, and that's a land use issue.
Mm. Okay, so now I want to thank Tiffany for our conversation.
Thank you.
It has been wonderful, but we're going to do our birthday shout outs and then we're going to do our announcements. So I always give the list to my guests to do the birthdays.
Okay, I will try to do this very well and honor these names. Velma Ferguson, Chris Parks, Ashonda Hunt, Gail Hunt. Oh, two people with the same last name.
I know, and not related, isn't that something?
That is. Darcia Madden.
Russell.
Darcia Madden Russell, thank you. Greg McKinney, Geneva Roddy, Grace Jordan, Rod Howard, Melvin Watts, Elton Cooper, Natalie Atkinson, Ricky Tyrone Farrow, Ian Wood Jr., and Patricia Livingston.
Patricia Livingston is the energizing bunny who turned 84 this week. Do we have her picture, gentlemen? There she is. Special birthday to my wonderful mother, Patricia Livingston, 84 years young, the energizing bunny. She never stops. Yes, that's where I get my energy from.
I believe it. I believe it.
She also did a concert in the parks in Oceanside.
Oh.
13 years ago. She's a former songwriter and she wrote for Motown, Jermaine Jackson, Gladys Knight, Etta James, the Shy Lights. So we used to go to the Grammys together.
Wow.
So that was fun. Growing up in the entertainment business was fun. You get to meet people and listen to the records go, oh, I know them.
I know them. That's amazing.
So, Miss Tiffany, now we're going to talk about our next community event. The Vista Candidates Interview is going to be held at St. Francis Catholic Church, and you can take over and read the rest.
Okay. St. Francis Catholic Church Social Justice Ministry is hosting a nonpartisan Vista Candidates Interview, an evening with Vista candidates to hear about housing, homelessness, and public safety. Voting is power. When? October the 12th, 2022. It's a Wednesday, 6 to 7:30 at St. Francis Catholic Church, the outside sanctuary, 525 West Vista Way. And it says use the church parking lot or enter by Rollins Street to park by the sanctuary. The event will be in English and Spanish. The event will be in English with Spanish translations available. Refreshments will be provided. Wearing a face covering is optional, and you can RSVP. Should I say that?
Yes.
Contact Teresa at, it's TERESA at SDOP.net.
Remember, voting is power. Don't let anybody tell you that we're going to steal the election. The election was tainted. You go and vote. That's important for us to go and vote. So let's go and vote. And Miss Tiffany, I want to thank you so much for coming. You've educated my audience and everybody what the supervisor does. So we feel much better of going to vote for the right supervisor that has our values.
Thank you.
It was an absolute pleasure. And I pray to God that everything goes well in your life. you continue to be that scientist for the water district or supervisor, whatever is according to God's will in your life.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for coming again. And please come back soon.
I will. Thank you for having me. The
'Cause
pleasure was mine.
I want to talk about the water district,
Okay.
because I'm going to talk about how much water should we use in our property,
Yes.
and how often do they check the water to make sure it's good for us to drink? Because I know Camp Lejeune now, there's a lot of tainted water. So next time we come, you'll educate us on the water district.
I will be happy to do that.
Well, young lady and gentlemen, remember, Mama G wants to educate us all about raising good children, because you have to vote for the people who's going to help us raise our children. So once in a while, I have special guests who will help us make the right decisions for our household, so we can teach our children the right way to go. Because building a legacy is our job to do, because when we leave this earth, they are going to take over. So we need to teach them to vote for local authorities, state authorities, and national authorities. So let's go out and vote. Now, I'll have another show on the 16th, I believe, and maybe one on the 30th. I have to talk to my producers. But on the 23rd, I'm out of town again. So I will let you know when my next show is. But this has been a wonderful, educating show for us, because now I know who and what to vote for in the supervisor position. So let's have a wonderful week. Remember, put God first and read your children Proverbs to let them know that God loves them and you love them too. Have a wonderful week. Talk to you soon. God bless. Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you.
Voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood. He to shine.